Hey YouTube, it's Corlash1990, and today I have another Nightmare Before Christmas TCG deck tech, and this one's for my Oogie Boogie deck. And basically, this is like the control version of a deck for this game. It's not a whole lot of characters. I mean, there's a decent amount, but not like any of the other decks really. And it mainly displays a lot of surprises that kind of just do a lot of removal. Even some of the creations we do, like moving shenanigans or just a lot of points, moving opponents' things around. This searches for surprises, but like this can swap with someone else's creation. Ideally, one that's worth more than four. Otherwise, it's not not really worth it. And yeah, this getting Oogie to his lair, which you're gonna play him to his lair, but you need to have this version of him, which sucks because I really like the artwork for Oogie Boogie 8 Ball, but this is just so much better. And it's what makes this card playable, which is the main card that this deck is based around, which is its spot removal. And you want to get Sandy Claus into the lair, throw this on Sandy Claus for more points, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I will separate this out like I do all the other decks with the characters, the creations, and then the surprises and locations. So starting off, we have Oogie's Lair. This location's great. It has a very low hand size, 5, but it generates 3 pumpkin points on its own, and it only moves a card and only draws 2 cards. So you don't need both of these to do the Sandy Claus like combo thing. You need one or the other. I play both because, well, they're both just good. Drawing 3 cards, getting a pumpkin point, or drawing 2 and gaining 2. Both have a 3 activation cost. Both work well with Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I just run both of them. Again, Scary Bed, it's in every single deck. I don't know why you wouldn't play it. Fountain's also really good. Searches for character, ideally Sandy Claus. Gives you points, or Oogie Boogie Gambling Boogeyman. Name is kind of annoying to say. Town Hall, again, good. Draw and add 3. So it's pretty straightforward with locations for this deck. For the characters, this is the main one, right? And when you put, it's 5 costs, but it will pretty much just cost 1 with this guy out first. With the whole playing different persona characters in this game. And when you play them, you pitch your hand and refill it with the same number of cards you discarded. So like a Wheel of Fortune almost kind of effect. Very good. This guy just costs 1 less to play to his lair. So just like every other character at the starting location, more or less. But he's a big boy, so he takes a lot of movement to move out of his location, which this deck does not utilize getting his scare value of 4 out of his location to power other locations. He wants to stay here, so we don't really care about moving him too much. Again, Sandy Claus, then there's the stipulation. You can read it. That's how he goes to the lair. Again, Monster Under the Bed, no reason not to. Clown is removal. Reaper is more removal from the hand. Devil's really good. Whenever an opponent's character is discarded, draw a card. Lock, Shock, and Barrel. So the reason why I run 1 Shock and then 2 of Lock and 2 of Barrel, these two have abilities that when they're in play, you can discard other copies of them from your hand to do additional effects. She does not do that. It's just whenever she moves, they all follow her. So that's why I only run 1 of them. This deck is very slimmed down to like the absolute bare necessities because the surprises take up a lot of space in this deck. And then again, the same resource package that's pretty much in every deck. Literally every deck. Like I said, I have one where I run 1 less Ethan, though arguably I should probably have 2. So very straightforward. I run Lock, Shock, Barrel because they combo with, where is that card draw? This surprise right here, which is probably the best card draw card in this game. It's very good. You end up drawing a lot of cards off of it. And yeah, Monster Under the Bed, again, self-explanatory, just like every other deck list I've posted. If you're playing Scary Bed, you're running this guy, generate more points. It's pretty efficient. For the creations, Oogie dice is when you play it, if he's in your lair, you can immediately move him to another locale. It's I hardly ever move him. There's very rarely where I want to move him to activate like Fountain or something, or really any other location I have. I'm getting pretty desperate. My opponent is also blowing up my characters if I am doing this. So typically it doesn't happen, but it's an Oogie deck and it's very fitting. Plus 4 scare points, that's kind of hard to deal with. Jumbo Tree Bag as well. Lock, Shock, and Barrel make it cheaper. So 2 cost for 5 scare points. Pretty good. Clock Catapult of Lock, Shock, and Barrel in your Halloween town. You can move an opponent's character to another location, up to 3 locales away, which is pretty far for this game. Seeing there's only 6 of them out, you can kind of mess up their resource generating for the next turn, or just any sort of plan that they had for the next turn with that. Jack in the Box, because we play Clown, and if you play this when you have Clown out, you get to search 6 for a surprise, which, again, being a control deck, we have a lot of surprises in this deck, so this can get a lot of good, useful things that we need. And Extendable Arm. Again, if you have Clown at your Town Hall, hence why we play Town Hall, you can swap this basically with another opponent's creation, like I said earlier in the video. Plus, it's a very cool looking ultra rare. I love the foiling with the green background on this card. It looks fantastic. That's all the creations we play. But again, that's kind of all that we can play with the characters that we are running. Now for the surprises. Play one of the I'm Santa Claus, which surprises that stack. You can't have multiples of them in play, so there's no real need to run more than one of this. But when you play it, it searches 6 for Sandy Claus, which is good. Or ideally, how you want to play it is stack it on your Sandy, and then if Sandy and Oogie are in your Halloween, or in Oogie's lair in your Halloween town, you can discard an opponent's creation from play. So if they spent like a whole turn generating a bunch of pumpkin points, getting like a 5 or 6 drop creation into play, you just drop this and just delete it, and it basically time walks them. So this card's great. Great as just a one of, though. I would not run more of these to be more consistent with it. The main card for the deck, however, is Wheel of Torture, and it is like a better version of Sound of Rolling Dice, though we play this as well because this card is also good. Basically, if your Oogie in play has the alias of Gambling Boogeyman, which it will, hence why we play that version and not continuing to go up the chain into 8-ball, you discard the top card of your opponent's deck, discard one of your opponent's characters from play if that character has the same exact scare number as the discarded card. A lot of things in this game are between 1, 2, and 3. So your chances, outside of creations, your chances are pretty good you're going to hit something, especially when you wait till late game to play this, which it probably will be late game because we only run 2 copies. It, cost 1. We still have to find our first Oogie Boogie before we can even really play him. So it's probably going to hit something. And again, it's a 0 cost. Pretty good. It's any 0 cost surprise in this game is great. You play it, you put it in the surprise discard pile. At the end of your turn, you put all surprises there, which can only, I think, be 3 of them, into your actual discard, and then you draw a card for every surprise put there. So think of this as draw a card, then do this ability kind of a thing. Or at the end of your turn, draw a card, then do the rest of the card. So this is a very good surprise to focus a deck around, I think. And Sound of Rolling Dice and Let's Play. My old version of this deck ran 4 of each of these. I cut them for some other tech cards that I will suggest you can swap in and out of. I'll get to those in a minute. Sound of Rolling Dice is kind of the same thing as Wheel of Torture. It costs 1, however. You choose a character belonging to an opponent and discard the top card from their deck. The scare number is higher. The scare number of the discarded card is higher than the character you chose. The character is discarded. Let's Play is a search 6 for this, or you play Let's Play when you play Sound of Rolling Dice to discard an additional card. So there's also kind of like an annoying mill side package in this deck. Though mill, you can't win through mill in this game. You refresh your deck when your deck runs out, and it does happen quite a bit. But if you're discarding your opponent's resources off the top of their deck before they get a chance to draw them and then play them, and if they're not playing locales to search through their discard pile to get those things back, it's kind of added value on top of these already great cards. So 6 removal spells that will essentially all draw, like replace themselves at the end of your turn. It's pretty efficient. I run 2 of the, in my opinion, the best card draw surprise in this game. Probably just the best card draw card in this game, period. It's Kidnap Mr. Santa Claus. It costs 1, and every player draws 1 card plus an additional card for each of the following characters in their Halloween town: Lock, Shock, Barrel, Santa Claus. So this could be 1 cost, draw 5, which most of the time this is a 1 cost, draw 5. That's insane. This this card's great. You could arguably run 4 of these if you want. I think this is just fine at 2 because we have lots of other ways of drawing cards and filtering through our deck, though, because we run a lot of surprises. So again, you're going to be filtering through your deck quite a bit. These 4 cards I run because I was running into problems with dealing with the opponent's creations with this deck, because otherwise I'm just hoping I can keep all of their characters off the table so that they can't activate their locales for the most part. Not true for every game. It's going to happen where they just slam a big surprise down, and it's barely enough to get them through. And it was consistently happening enough to me where I wanted to add more control for creations instead of control for characters, or just running more characters in general, like Hanging Tree or some of the ghosts or whatever. So I run 2 of each of these. Searchlights is a 3-cost card, which is expensive, and it searches 6 for any card, which is great. Or you can play it to your Halloween town. So I'm pretty sure this counts for your scanner number at the end of the game because it's a part of your Halloween town. And while this card's in play, the card Fire costs 2 less, because Fire costs 5, which is insane. That's a lot of resources to generate in a turn. Typically 3 to 4 is like average, or 1 to 2 with added bonuses. Fire simply says discard an opponent's creation from play. It's a good card. It's a very good card when your opponent is playing a lot of creations as well, like my Dr. Finkelstein deck, which was the deck I was having problems with. So Searchlights is great. Once you get one out, it just stays out. The next one is just like a rough, like pseudo demonic tutor, and then this is like blows up creations. So I run these because I felt like it was necessary. I will say this is like the 4-card slot that you can kind of mix around and do whatever you want with in the deck. But all in all, this is a very fun deck to play. This is actually my favorite Nightmare Before Christmas deck. I've looked up a lot of deck lists for Oogie Boogie. Not a lot revolved around purely just him. They use him with like 1 or 2 Wheel of Torture and then go into Oogie Boogie 8-Ball. I don't know. I like just sticking with this and just going hard on this. But I also kind of like control for this game as well. It adds more variety to the game instead of people just almost playing solitaire, just dumping as much things as they can into play. This adds some interaction between both people. So anyway, that is my deck tech for my Oogie Boogie deck. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, I'll try to to upload my last deck tech video for this. I'm still iffy on my Christmas Town deck. I might do it, I might not. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.